The second generation Firebirds were some of the most beautiful Pontiacs ever produced and had a number of trend-setting design features. From the Endura front end that mimics the now ubiquitous fascia frontal end of many vehicles, to an interior that was designed to have the same theme as the exterior, to, my personal favorite, the Honeycomb wheels. The second-gen Firebirds offered great design eye candy in a time when overall car design was changing significantly. While we could talk at length about many elements of the second-generation Firebird, we're going to save that for a future video and concentrate on the Honeycomb wheels that were offered from 1971 to 76, predominantly on Firebirds, but also available on a number of other Pontiacs. The Honeycomb wheel remains a unique design in automotive history, not only for Pontiacs, but across all cars, as it hasn't really been replicated since 1971 to 76. Conceived by Bill Porter, who was Pontiac's chief designer in the late 60s and early 70s, the Honeycomb wheel was patterned after Buckminster Fuller's geodesic domes, which, although they ended up using triangle shapes to construct the dome structure and the Honeycomb wheel employed hexagons, they obviously bear a similar resemblance. In addition to looking good, Bill believed that the geodesic dome-type structure employed on a wheel for a vehicle could offer a number of advantages, the most prominent being potential lightweighting, in addition to its good looks. The lightweighting would be a simple result of the design, which enabled a number of air gaps throughout what would otherwise be a solid wheel. Thus, the original design was conceived around General Motors' 5-lug bolt pattern in the form of hexagons radiating out from the center of the wheel to its outer edge. The resulting design was not only beautiful but also functional, and Porter strongly desired this wheel to be genuine in not only form but also function. However, the rise of the hegemony of the bean counters at General Motors in the 1970s, coupled with an overzealous wheel engineer, eventually doomed Porter's vision for the wheel to be both aesthetically pleasing as well as functional. In the early 70s, a number of wheel companies were trying new techniques to apply injection molded soft material to steel to enable designs like this to be bolted on, in effect, to a standard steel wheel versus having them cast out of a more expensive material like aluminum. You can imagine a technique like this warming the cockles of every bean counter's heart at General Motors during the time, or any cost-conscious wheel engineer, as was the particular case for this Honeycomb wheel. As far as I've been able to read about the situation, Porter relates that a particular wheel engineer entered into a contract with a new wheel company that was trying to make inroads with Pontiac to make the wheel out of a combination of a solid steel wheel as well as a plastic cap that would enable the Honeycomb design to be shown on the outside of the wheel, but the basic structure to be made out of steel and thus low cost. In other words, the Honeycomb wheel made from this technique would have a fair amount of the beauty that Porter had originally proposed, but it would bear none of the functional significance that he had originally envisioned it for. Unfortunately, however, Porter did not get his way, and this polycast technique, as it was called back in the day, was employed on the final Honeycomb wheels all the way through their production from 1971 through 1976. Over the course of that run, there ended up being two sizes of Honeycomb wheels offered, a 15 by 7 inch design as well as a 14 by 7 inch design. All of them had a flat, pentagon-shaped center cap and a bright finish that in later years was sometimes adorned with trim rings, although this was not true for the Trans Ams until the 1973 model year. Buyers could check the Honeycomb wheel option off on a number of different Pontiacs, not just the Firebird, and it remained an option until 1976 when it was superseded by a new snowflake-like variation that had a gold tone in appearance and was offered on the very popular Smokey and the Bandit style Trans Am. However, even more importantly, the superseding snowflake wheel was actually a true cast aluminum design as opposed to the polycast design combination of a steel wheel with the plastic cap that the Honeycomb wheel had to endure. And here are a few pictures of an admittedly tired version of a Honeycomb wheel. This one shows the state of deterioration that sometimes happens given the technique for manufacturing. But you can see that the exterior has the hexagonal forms radiating outward, as I mentioned before, coupled with a pentagon at the center. Now let's take a look at the back. From the back of the wheel, you can quickly see that the front-facing honeycomb pattern really had nothing to do with the overall structure of the wheel, as this back-facing photo shows that it's merely a steel wheel with 5 different cutouts for venting placed in it, but it has none of the honeycomb shape that the front end would suggest to provide the overall structure. Thus, the wheel, while beautiful in design, was a bit of what the Texans would call all hat and no cattle. It certainly looked the part and it looked absolutely fantastic playing it, but it did not have the function that the original designer intended. Even as a bean counter, I must admittedly say that I sympathize with Bill Porter when you take a look at what happened to his design. It certainly turned out aesthetically pleasing, but would have been much nicer if it had been functionally accurate as well. However, during this period and even before, it was quite common for styling themes to really not be functional. A perfect example being the fake louvers on the hood of a 63 split-window Corvette. They appear to be functional, but they certainly aren't. Nor are the ersatz vents which appear between the door and back window glass that are simply sculpted into the body. But those are subjects for another day. I hope you enjoyed this discussion on one of the styling features of the great second-generation Trans Am. There's so much to talk about this particular vehicle, everything from the exterior styling to the wheels to the under-hood engines, including the Super Duty 455 that was produced from 1973 to 74. We'll delve more into those topics in some subsequent videos, as well as other Pontiacs from the era and unique features that they had. Until next time, thanks again for watching, and take care. Thanks for watching this video on the 1971 to 76 Pontiac Honeycomb wheels. If you like this video, please be sure to like and comment, as that helps the YouTube algorithm serve it up to more individuals like you. And if you're not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Click the circular icon of the 67 Buick Riviera at the top left, then hit the bell to ensure you're notified of all my future videos. Lastly, be sure to check out some video thumbnails at the bottom left and right for suggestions of videos for you to watch. Once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.